Okay, everybody, a little bit different format today. We're going to talk a little bit about the IATSE strike. Just so you know up front, this is a legitimate issue, something that should concern everybody that earns a living from entertainment, from the exhibitors and obviously all the way down to the folks that sell the popcorn, the people that actually work in the industry behind the camera. They're all overwhelmingly voting for this strike. This is something we've been talking about on the 6-Minute Dailies and in other shows, and I think it's something that we should definitely definitely visit here real quickly, so that at least we can talk about it in a lengthier way. So with that being said, here's the story we're going to start with. This is the IATSE and AMPTP agree to resume bargaining on Tuesday following the historic strike authorization vote. So now that they have everybody behind it, the AMPTP is actually coming to the table probably more aggressively. There's a lot of enough is enough sentiment in the industry that maybe this will get done. But anyway, this is what we're going to talk about. Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, hiss and foes, welcome to the Culture Casino.
From the story itself, the IATSE and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers have agreed to return to the bargaining table on Tuesday following the union's historic strike authorization vote. It will be the first time in more than 2 months that the two sides have engaged in collective bargaining. That's a problem because the IATSE had been trying to get AMPTP to the table, and I was under the impression this had been happening. But it's 2 months. They waited 2 months till the actual crisis event for them to actually get involved in the idea that they needed to deal with this. That's insane. I mean, that's just absolutely bonkers. And Matt Loeb, who's the president of the IATSE, says this. He says, "I hope the studios will see and understand the resolve of our members." Yeah, no kidding. They knew this was going to happen. They had 98% of the union's voting members authorized him to call a strike. 98%. That's almost 100. That's almost unanimous. That never happens. Usually end up with like a mid-70s number or whatever, maybe 80s. But 98% of these people said, we're done. Anyway, to continue his quote, "The ball is in their court. If they want to avoid a strike, they will return to the bargaining table and make us a reasonable offer." They really should. This creates a situation where all production for film and television, for the most part, nationwide, will cease. All of the locals are behind this. The only people that are isolated from this for whatever reasons are the pay TV companies that had made previous agreements with the IATSE, right? And you're having like a lot of these streamers try to come to the table with IATSE and say, you know what, we're not really doing all that well, or we're not really doing all that much. Apple recently did that in a story that we reported before. But it's interesting because the IATSE is so many different groups of production folks. This can't be ignored. It can't be shoved in a corner. You can't go out and get some of these people. They're too valuable. I mean, you makeup, hair, the lights, you name it, grips. I mean, the people that are really, really important in any form of production. Anyway, the AMTP said this: "It remains committed to reaching an agreement that will keep the industry working. We deeply value our IATSE crew members and are committed to working with them to avoid shutting down the industry at such a pivotal time." This was always on the horizon. Doesn't that blow your mind? Continuing, particularly since the industry is still recovering from the economic fallout of the global crisis. A deal can be made at the bargaining table, but it will require both parties working together in good faith and a willingness to compromise and to explore new solutions to resolve the open issues. That's a lot of doublespeak. And what it means is that they're essentially saying that the other party wasn't working in good faith. I'm not sure that's the language I would have tried to use here. Again, this is it's border. It's not inflammatory, but it could be taken as such. And you have like a lot of people that are feeling pretty strongly about this, that this needs to be done. So Loeb said today, and this is a quote, "The members have spoken loud and clear. This vote is about the quality of life as well as health and safety of those who work in film and television. Our people have basic human needs like time for meal breaks, adequate sleep, and a weekend." Now, there was a practice, and I'm interrupting the quote here again, but there's a practice called Fraturday, which means Friday extends into Saturday for some of these shoots. So some of these people get one day off, if that. This is an ongoing issue. It needs to be addressed, and there have been people passing away in association with a lack of rest and some of these practices. Some horrific accidents have occurred. You're seeing more and more frequently accidents on sets and things like that, some of which may be, and I'm not saying they are, but may be attributable to these practices in the industry. I continue. For those at the bottom of the pay scale, they deserve nothing less than a living wage. Now, this is going to be the point of contention because, depending upon where you live, especially in California, the cost of living is substantially higher than it is in other parts of the country. So this can affect the people that are not even, making a decent wage, even at the the $15 an hour range in California. You don't live well out there, on that kind of a salary, $15 an hour. Anyway, the DGA's National Board of Directors, meanwhile, issued a statement saying that it stands in solidarity. By the way, that's the Directors Guild, right? Stands in solidarity with the IATSE brothers, sisters, and kin. The quality of life and living wage issues they are fighting for are important to all workers on set. This is 100% true, and I hope the contract includes language to include other people that may not fall within this union. By the way, SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild, they actually are in line with this too. This is bad when you've got all of the unions that are looking down the pipeline at this and saying you need to step up to the plate. We'll have to see. Anyway, finishing their statement, we urge the producers and studios, the AMPTP, to return to the bargaining table and make a fair deal addressing these critical issues. And I think that they should. It's again, the conversation around unions, can go either way. Some people are okay with unions. Some people don't like them. Some people understand that in certain careers, they're the only way that you're going to get fair dealing with whoever you're dealing with. And to a certain extent, early on, there were careers that you had a very shortened lifespan because, of the working conditions you were in, and you would still be in those positions if it weren't for the unions coming into being and essentially demanding fairness and safety and health protocols and all the other things. Because the government, believe it or not, does not help on a lot of this stuff. I mean, they like to pretend that they do. They don't. It's up to the labor itself to get the best possible deal from the employer. And again, argue on either side of that. You're perfectly welcome to. I'm just curious, what do you think? Do you think that less than 2 or 3 days from now, we'll actually see a complete work stoppage in Hollywood? It's a good question. It's quite possible. There are some steps in between here and there, but they already extended the deadline and moved this vote to October 1 to 3. 98% of the people want it. So I ask you, fill in the comments down below. Or do you think this is a good thing for them to stand on this? If this is the hill that they, figuratively, pass on, right? I have to be careful how I say that here. Or do you think that this ultimately won't work? Regardless, if they end up in a strike position where they're not working anymore, production shuts down, and there's very little that'll keep moving forward. So anyway, I just am curious what you think. Go ahead and leave the comments down below, as I said. I'm going to end this video the same way I always do. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. It truly is. And until next time, bye.
Thanks for visiting today.
Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.